Mavericks beat Boston by 3 in their previous meeting on February 23rd. Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis combined for almost 49 points a game. That's third in the NBA among teammates aged 25 or younger. They got off to a good start. Doncic to Porzingis. Then later Doncic to Porzingis. They combined for 20 points in the first quarter, almost halfway to their average in the first 12 minutes. Second quarter, Mavs by 10. Doncic dominating, spinning Marcus Smart around, then knocking down the three. Hit 24 and a half on 8 of 9 shooting. Kemba Walker's on him this time, doesn't matter. Late first half, put some size on him. How about Jason Tatum? Step back three, took over late in the second, shoots 86% off pull-up jumpers in the first half, much better than the 22% from the Celtics. The Mavericks up 19 at halftime. Celtics trail by as many as 23 in the third quarter. We'll move to the fourth, 9:20 to go. They've cut it to 12. Here comes Kemba Walker. Put him on the line as well. Made the free throw. Celtics cut it to 9, 22 for Walker. Less than 4 minutes ago, Celtics down 8. Jason Tatum says, give me that. And you take this, 25 for Tatum. Celtics down 6. Right back in it. Fans booed him earlier, but they're getting into it now. But here comes Doncic again. 7 of 11 from three-point range. I mean, he's way out there. Way out there. 36 points on 11 of 15 shooting. Mavericks, 113-108.
I think it's more confidence. But, more working, more practicing my shots. I think some of them are difficult, but, if you work on them, hopefully they go in. But I think it's more confidence than anything.
It's about how are we going to play when it gets tough? Because it's always going to get tough. The players are too good. Like, those shots that Luka hit were ridiculous. There's nothing else we can say about those, right? So we have to move on. We have to be able to do that better than we have.
What's the source of the long stretches where it seems like you guys lose focus?
I think it's just a part of, I don't know what you guys want me to say, to be honest. I think everything has a factor that's involved. I don't know. I don't know what you guys want me to say.
Well, the Mavericks hit hard with injuries and COVID protocols to start the season, but they found their footing over the last 2 months. Celtics, on the other hand, 4 games under 500 since February 1st. They have 6 separate losing streaks to just 2 different win streaks over that span. Let's bring in Tim Legler now. Tim, the MVP talk has faded for Luka Doncic, but boy, when he gets it going like he did in this game, he's almost impossible to defend. What did you see from him?
Yeah, I wouldn't bury that Luka MVP talk just yet because of the way they have played over the last month and a half. They've got 9 out of the next 13 at home. If this team continues to win and climb the standings, he's going to thrust himself back to that conversation. Here's the bottom line. Luka Doncic is one of those guys that he makes everybody so much better on the floor because of his vision and his scoring ability that you're going to have a tough start to a season sometimes the way that they did. But eventually, when you've got the guy that every single night is capable of being the best player on the floor, you're going to have a chance to turn it around. And that's what they've done now. And this team has now sneakily climbed their way up the standing, sitting there at 7. I don't know if they're going to get an opportunity to climb much higher, but they've just made their season a lot more interesting with what they've done over the last 6 weeks, because if they end up in that 7th spot and you get the 1 or 2, that's a real opportunity to get a win if it's Phoenix or Utah. The other thing that's happened with this team, Stan, they've gotten tremendous contributions out of Brunson. This is a guy now that has stepped up, because you're always wondering with Dallas, where is the supplemental production going to come from? Porzingis is going to be a little bit inconsistent, a little bit streaky. Tim Hardaway Jr. the same. They need another guy to stabilize them, and that's what Brunson can bring to the table. Tonight, he was really the second best player on the floor outside of Luka Doncic. So this team is getting it together at the right time, and Luka Doncic has found his stroke, shooting well over 40% over the last 2 months from the three-point line after a terrible start. So this is a team now that you got to watch, because they're dangerous, and if they end up in that 7 or 8 spot and you get Phoenix or Utah, I think that's a potentially winnable series, because they've got the best player on the floor if that happens.
Brunson with 21 points to help the Dallas bench outscore Boston 34-18. Meanwhile, the Celtics get 25 from Tatum, 24 from Brown, 22 from Walker, but yet they lose, and Boston falls to 23-25 on the season. They're underachieving, Tim. What's going on with the Celtics?
They are underachieving. I think a big part of it is because of the way their offense operates. Look, they've got two very young forwards. Jason Tatum is a guy that going into the season some people thought could be in the MVP discussion himself. And then Jaylen Brown has turned himself into a perennial all-star caliber player. The problem is the way their offense operates, it really relies on just great individual shot making. And these guys take a lot of tough shots in the course of the night. They're capable of making shots, but they're not guys that get to the line a ton. They're not guys that are going to necessarily beat you from the three-point line. And they're not going to really beat you with their offensive creativity, with their passing. So when you have a situation where your best two players primarily are shooting twos, whether that's mid-range shots or getting to the rim, and they don't get to the line a ton, you think about it. On an average night, these guys take 40 shots to give you 50 points. That's really tough sledding in this league that is predicated on the three-point line, getting to the foul line. And this is a team that just doesn't get a ton of easy shots, and their offense, as a result, can be stagnant at times. They look a little bit deflated right now. I think they're disappointed in the way their year has gone, and I think they're looking for answers that aren't coming anytime soon because this roster is what it is going forward, and unfortunately, in a much improved Eastern Conference, that's just not good enough to contend. So this has been one of the bigger disappointments in the NBA this season, and I think the players would admit that, and you're starting to see it in their body language a little bit. They're very frustrated.
Dropped their last two. They host the Rockets on Friday. Mavericks head to New York to take on the Knicks. Tim, always great having you on the show.
Thanks, Dan.
The chartered plane carrying the Utah Jazz to Memphis for Wednesday's game had to turn around and make an emergency landing after it struck a flock of birds. Everyone okay, except the birds. Donovan Mitchell, who has admitted a fear of flying, was not on the subsequent flight that landed safely in Memphis, so Quinn Snyder going without him. Rudy Gobert going to the hole. There's a man down. Donovan Mitchell tweeting, apparently watching at home, that's how you feel, to Rudy Gobert. I'll tell you who was feeling it, as the Jazz best player was watching it for home was Memphis best player, Ja Morant. I mean, that's Lillard-esque. There, he had 13 in the third quarter, and then Morant hits Tillman right there with the wraparound, joins Mike Conley, only players in Grizz history with 300 points and 100 assists in a month. Memphis shot 5 of 18 from 3. Utah shot 16 of 49 from 3. So, I mean, the team that shoots 16 threes is going to win this game. Mike Conley, 13 of his 26 in the fourth quarter. Morant kept him close, though. He had 36, 16 in the fourth quarter. But Conley, the former Fred Bear, too much. And Utah beats Memphis for the third time in a week. This one, 111-107 without Donovan Mitchell.
All I heard was a bang. And then I turn and look out the window and see the whole engine shaking and everything. And then you see everybody in the back kind of reacting to what's going on. And, a lot of the people in the back that were sitting behind the engine and stuff like that, they seen a burst of flame. It was like one of those flights where you were sending out texts. I know you've seen on the movies when a plane about to crash or something. It got to that point where we was all on the plane this might be really the end.
For a good 10, 15 minutes, I think all of us on that flight were questioning if we were going to, be here today, So that's how serious it was for us. And, can't speak for everybody, but I know that, guys were trying to text family and, just in case, it was that kind of situation. And we're just thrilled and thankful for the pilots and the staff and what they were able to do to get us back home safely. And I think a lot of us were shook up. Obviously, you don't just go through something like that and get back on a plane and head to go, play a game again. So put perspective on life for all of us. And like I said, we're just all thankful to be here and doing what we love to do.
That's heavy. After a 5-6 stretch, the Jazz have reeled off 7 straight wins. It's the third time Utah has put together a 7-game win streak. The Jazz have the 2 longest win streaks of the season at 11-9 straight. The Jazz improved to 3-0 without Mitchell this season. They haven't missed a beat from beyond the arc in those games. They've made at least 16 three-pointers in each contest. Again, they hit Memphis 16-5 on threes, and the Jazz have been scoring at will all season. Quinn Snyder coaching them up Wednesday, 37 straight games, scoring 100 points. One shy of their franchise record set in the 83-84 season.
Still no LeBron James or Anthony Davis for the Lakers, but Andre Drummond made his LA debut Wednesday. He was in the starting lineup in place of Marc Gasol against the Bucks. Drummond hadn't played since February 12th. Cavs sat him while they were looking for a trade. Says he lost 10 to 15 pounds while he was out. Drummond kicking it out to Dennis Schroeder, who scored 17, but it took him 18 shots to get him. Later in the first, Markieff Morris, wide open, knocks that down. He had 15. Lakers, 8 threes in the first quarter, their most in any quarter this season. That's the good news. Bad news is they made just 2 more the rest of the game. They went 10 for 36. They were up by 6 at the end of the first. Here comes Giannis Antetokounmpo going at Drummond, tying the game at 45. Later, Bucks up 2. Antetokounmpo loses the ball, gets it back, and dunks it. Bucks outscored the Lakers by 14 in the second. They were up 8 at the break. Third quarter, Bucks by 6. Brook Lopez. Pick and roll, gets that to fall. Lakers go to inbound the ball, but Drew Holiday's waiting for him. Holiday, 28 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. Quick 4 points for Milwaukee. And then Antetokounmpo stays with the plate. It actually bounced right back to him. Bucks pulling away up 13, and then Drummond limps back to the locker room with a right big toe contusion. Did not return. Scored 4 points in 14 minutes. Fourth quarter now, Bucks by 10. Chris Middleton up top for Antetokounmpo. 6 assists for Middleton to go with his 17 points. Antetokounmpo, 25 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks. Bucks take it 112-97 over the Lakers. So the lack of playing time resulted in one of the more unproductive games of Drummond's career. He finished with a season-low 14 minutes. His 4 points also matches a season-low. Wednesday, just the 4th game in his career in which he finished with 1 or 0 rebounds.